Hi, my name's Dr. Lissa Carter. I'm a lecturer in food technology at the Australian Catholic University. This short video is a teacher guide to using the Flavour Forecast Recipe Challenge in tertiary education programs. I'll briefly cover some of the changes to the tertiary version of the Flavour Forecast Recipe Challenge that have happened for 2024. I'll discuss how well aligned the challenge is with tertiary education program desired outcomes for students. I'll discuss what's worked really well for me in implementing the challenge in my teaching and learning programs and some of the feedback that I've received from students who have participated in the challenge. In previous years, the tertiary challenge was only open to students who were enrolled in education programs related to home economics professions like secondary teaching, dietetics, food technology, and food science. However, from this year, the challenge has been open to tertiary students from all subjects and career paths, which is very exciting. This new direction acknowledges the fact that developing students' understanding of healthy eating principles and developing food skills in preparation, planning, and so forth can improve the diet quality and health outcomes in individuals. The hope is that all tertiary education students will enjoy and benefit learning how to adjust recipes to make them healthy, tasty, and exciting. One of the big differences between the tertiary version of the challenge and that used in secondary schools is that tertiary education students are required to select only one of the three flavour trends that McCormick has put forward for the year and create an original recipe that responds to that one flavour trend. On this slide, you can see the unit aims in the courses that I teach into. I'm involved in delivering units in an initial teacher education program for secondary students wanting to become food technology teachers. So many of the unit aims in my units are around students developing knowledge and understanding of the key principles that underpin healthy eatings. We aim to get students to develop skills in using a range of food technologies that are used in both domestic and industry settings. And of course, we are involved in helping students develop food design skills. So we ask students to apply the skills and knowledge that they've learnt around food and nutrition to designing, producing, and evaluating their own unique designed products. So you can see that the Flavour Forecast Challenge works very well in helping students meet learning outcomes. On the right, I've listed the graduate capabilities that ACU has listed as helpful and beneficial for all tertiary education students at the university. You can see things there like developing collaborative skills, critical thinking and problem-solving skills, and communication skills. So the task not only helps with unit aims, but also students to develop those graduate capabilities. So what's worked really well for me in implementing the recipe challenge in my teaching and learning programs is to use it as an assessment task. As tertiary educators, we understand that our students focus most of their attention, time, and energy on assessment tasks for units. So what I try and do is keep the task as close as possible to the challenge brief requirements and not include too many additional components that are not required. The reason that I do this is to make it easy for students to use what they've done in the assessment task as their entry into the challenge. We know that university students are really time poor. They've got lots of commitments, not on top of their university studies, such as work commitments and other. And so making sure that the task incorporates all of the elements that are required for them to have a successful entry into the challenge works really well. I also try and utilise all of the resources that are provided by McCormick and HEIA, which are really excellent. McCormick provides some wonderful resources about the trends, also about new ingredients that could be incorporated into recipe designs for the trend. They also provide some information about new techniques and how to use them. McCormick on their website and in the images in their resources demonstrate excellent food preparation, presentation and food photography. So these are also wonderful for students to use to help them improve their challenge submissions and their assessment tasks. HEIA also provides some wonderful resources that are very helpful for us as teachers and for students, such as resources about how to cost recipes, how to write recipes, and how to undertake food photography. The other thing that I find works well is to make sure that I schedule enough class time for students to work both collaboratively and individually in undertaking planning, testing, and development of their recipes. I try and get students to work in pairs for this challenge as much as possible. Working in pairs allows me as a teacher to minimize the amount of space that is required in class, as well as the number of practical classes that I need to assign to both planning and developing their recipe, as well as assessing their final submissions for the task. I also make sure that I include an individual component in this assessment task. So in the way that I set out the assessment task for the Flavour Forecast Challenge is to get students to work in pairs to undertake planning, preparation and presentation of their designed recipe. And I include an individual component as the critical justification or reflection upon their resolution to the challenge. Making sure I include an individual component is really important, so it allows students to demonstrate their critical thinking skills and their communication skills individually. The other thing that's helpful is to get students to document the process and progress through the challenge journey in a process diary or a project journal. In this project journal, students can record their thought processes, their research they're conducting into the trend or ingredients, some of the tests that they've conducted, and the recipe design that they've undertaken. They can reflect upon feedback from both their peers and teaching staff, and then hopefully use that to improve their final outcome for submission into the challenge and their assessment task. The feedback that I've received from students who have participated in the recipe challenge has been overwhelmingly positive. Students have really enjoyed learning about new foods, new flavours, new culinary techniques and traditions. They've really enjoyed experimenting and undertaking tests to develop their designs for an original recipe. They've also really enjoyed developing skills in how to present food well and to photograph that food. Students have also commented that they enjoyed working together in pairs or small groups for this challenge. They've been able to bounce ideas off each other and problem solve in teams, and they found that really valuable. I hope this short presentation has given you some ideas and inspired you to use the Flavour Forecast Recipe Challenge in your learning and teaching programs. Good luck.